What is up, guys? Today I'm making this video to show you guys how I hit 10,000 steps every single day as a remote worker. This is a pretty important topic because, as you guys know, if you're a remote worker that's obviously sitting down most of the day, a lot of what we want is to build muscle and stay as lean as possible. And a big factor, which sometimes it comes down to, or a big factor that contributes to being in a caloric deficit or eating at maintenance, staying within your calories, is how many calories you burn throughout the day. And a lot of people don't realize, but the steps that you take is the best calorie burner due to its simplicity and how little amount of time and energy you have to invest. Now, what does my specific schedule look like? Monday or 6 days out of the week that I go to the gym, I usually go to the gym in the morning, first thing in the morning. I wake up, have a pre workout snack, not a big meal because I don't want to have my body, digesting food, all that kind of thing, because that does take energy as well. You want to give your body the carbs, the energy source, but you don't want to overload it to the point that it's spending most of its energy digesting, as opposed to actually, putting in into the actual workout. So I wake up around 6:30, 7 a.m., have a snack. I'm at gym at around 7:30. I'm in there for around 2 hours. I hit my, of course, weightlifting session, whether it's a leg day, chest and back day, or shoulders and arms. At the end of every single workout, I finish it off with cardio, incline walk specifically, because it's steps, it's elevated heart rate, and it burns twice as many calories as just walking plain, as if you were just going on a walk outside. Why? Because of the incline, right? And it's not super tiring because you're not sprinting, you're not doing anything that's super exhausting or that's gonna burn muscle. That's usually where I get around 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 steps, right? Around there, around the end of my work, I'm at around 3,000 steps for the day. And I know because I track it with my Aura Ring. Sometimes your phone just tracks it by itself. You just gotta change the settings. But always, I recommend you guys to do that. Now, once I get home, that's usually when I eat, have my first meal, and I sit down to work. So, how do I get the remaining 6,000 steps? That's probably where a lot of us have our downfall. So, what do we do? Well, depending on what kind of job specifically you have, I am at the moment a student, and of course, I work on my social media presence and my brand. So I'm most of the time I'm editing videos or getting an assignment done. So I have the freedom to take walking breaks every so often or take a snack break. Now, whenever you take a snack break or after eating, as opposed to just sitting down on the couch, and this is a very good tip. I really want you guys to apply this. As opposed to doing that, go outside, take a walk. You don't even have to go around your neighborhood because, of course, not all of us live in a perfect neighborhood where you can, walk around in trails, that kind of thing. But just, pacing around your own home or around your house or even around your living room, if that's all you have, it's going to be much better, not just to get those steps and burn those calories, but also to aid with digestion. A lot of people don't know this, but walking after a good meal is going to help and make a big difference when it comes to how your body digests food, its efficiency, and it's overall just gonna make you feel much better. Hopefully you guys can see me. It's not too bright, but yeah. So I pace around either my house during lunch breaks after I'm done with work. A lot of people suggest taking a walk early in the morning before you hit the gym or first thing in the morning, which is an amazing time as well. I prefer it around the end of my day, just because I don't have the time. I'm just get out of bed and I'm straight going to the gym. But yeah, I really recommend you guys to do this. Take walking breaks. Even just getting up out of your chair, walking around your room, stretching. That's also very beneficial. And during your lunch breaks, after eating, instead of sitting down again, take a walk. And then after work, take another walk. Just pacing around your house like that it builds up. The steps that you take, they do build up. And like I always say, taking your steps from 5,000 to 10,000, that builds up as well. Even though it might not seem by like a lot at the end of the day, because it is like 200 calories burnt, which If you're in any kind of caloric deficit, or if you've ever been on a diet, that's a big difference, right? Being able to add that to your diet, because this is the way that I see it. I can either go through my day, take my extra 5,000 steps, burn those extra 200 calories, and that way I get to eat a little bit more. Because at some point, you're going to get to a point where in your caloric deficit, or if you're eating just enough, you're not going to feel full. However, if you just eat more and don't move more either, if you move the same but you eat more, it's just gonna be extra calories that are gonna pile up, and they're probably gonna be turned into fat, and you don't want that. So that way you avoid that. You're either creating a bigger deficit, or you're giving a little bit more wiggle room in your diet, so that way you can eat more without gaining more fat. But yeah, if you're thinking of doing any kind of cardio, just start by walking. It really does go a long way. It might not seem like it at first, even just pacing around, but if you focus on the number, honestly, I think this is a good. Um, because usually I don't recommend anyone focusing on the numbers, like specifically when it comes to fitness. People obsess over calories, or the weight in the morning, and of course you always want to take that into account because it's a form of measurement, but it can be inaccurate. When it comes to weight and calories, right? However, when it comes to walking, most phones, most devices, they're pretty accurate when it comes to the steps that you take. And just seeing, your steps go up throughout the day, it really is motivating. It truly is. And those extra 200, 300 calories that your body is burning, that's an extra 2,000 calories that you're burning every single week. And on top of that, if you're in a caloric deficit, you're going to be building a lot more muscle, not just because of the health benefits, but you're going to be staying much leaner for much longer without having to put in so much investment or being tired all the time doing high intensity cardio. So, yeah, that is how I hit my 10,000 steps every single day as a remote worker. And if you guys want to apply that into your daily routine, of course, everybody's routine is different. Just take what works, throw out the rest, and do the best of it. So, yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.